developments of the future. Our next speaker comes from Icarto, a member company in gvSIG. Gonzalo Martinez, we've known each other for quite a while. In fact, we cooperated in a couple of projects in the past. And he comes to Valencia for the conference. 20 minutes.
Thank you. I'll try to be a little bit shorter. It's almost lunch time, so I'm sure that we all agree with that. So the presentation, I'm the last in the list, and I had a minor participation in the project. In fact, Jorge, my colleagues, and Pablo are the ones working hardly on this. Last year we did a presentation where we were reflecting about different tools related with roads, but in fact the ones in which we had participated or developed in previous years, and there are two projects. What do we do with the highway of Lugo to Coruña, and what do we do with the Diputación, the provincial authority of Lugo. There are some things that are going to be explained. This year we improve the SIGASA network, including many data debugging and so on. So here, this is the background. This introduction is going to be much shorter. But before starting, I'm thinking in the present scenario in which we are, which is the road sector. On the one hand, we are in a moment in which probably we will not build a lot of new infrastructure, but we have to do the maintenance of the infrastructure already built, and this is going to be one of the most important axes for action in this sector. This is a volume of projects and investments that cannot be reduced. New work is going to be reduced, but the investment which has to be done in maintenance should not be reduced, although perhaps will be a bit reduced. We are introducing new technologies in the road sector for the last few years, but the introduction is little by little and progressively in the different conservation areas in the ministry, and as you know, there is a lot. There's a long way ahead of us, as you know. So the efficiency and efficacy policies in public expense can help us to do a more efficient use of public expense, and the citizens' participation is a fact today, and the new technologies should make us participate in infrastructures which are public. That means they belong to everybody. So the higher the participation, the better, and then we will know how do we want those infrastructures to evolve in the future. In Icarto and in CartLab, the evolution was from 2009 when we started to work without us in the project of SIGA with a small module for expropriations, where we did a lot of work of digitalization of data, and that was almost the only thing we did until a moment when we started to be confident. Year after year, we started to implement new modules, different solutions for things which at the beginning were not so efficient, but which were very important. The urgent is always beating the important, but important things are not forgotten. And after we had a series of tools that have been evolving and have been developed and that can provide new solutions now. Now map table is already known, but that has been evolving. Nav table allows us to do forms, links between tables, and data introduction, which is much more user-friendly. And in year 2012 and this year, we started to introduce all web services, which are really interesting, complementary area. This is a project which is born out of a very specific fact in year 2009. Audasa had a big volume in paper. There was a lot of things in boxes that should be developed and could be used in a more efficient way. Some access databases that have to be replaced. So there is a lot of improvement marching, and we want to do that. But that started in a very specific way, saying, why don't we organize a meeting and you tell us what GIS means? And then we have a much longer and a bigger project. So is just an axis that gathers together Portugal, which is the most important branch, which are 200 kilometers by 2, because they are in fact 2 roads, because this is a highway, and we have an average of 28,000 cars or vehicles a day, and the dealer is Audasa. So this is a living element, and every day can happen. Whatever can happen. In fact, we have always an event, and we have a series of modules, utilities, and work with them so that they appropriate the tool. It's not just creating a technology, but it's also helping them the requirements and what can go well and so on. And the system is very simple and highly functional. And this is a post-GIS with a central server, and we have we serve both the dossiers branch and the SIG branch, and then we can also add any tools in the future, anything that can be connected, or services from mobile devices which still do not exist, but I'm sure it will exist in the future. On the one hand, we have the dossier management, and I'm going to see if this is working. This is not highly recommended, but we will not remember anything afterwards. This is the last that was incorporated, and all the processes that introduce in the web are the handling or the processing of any any dossier or anything, what happens, any incidents, if they receive an advice that something is going to happen, then they are going to handle this, to process this immediately. So this is the number of user. Each user has notifications adjusted to their respective role, to the process they have to carry out, and each user can see the expedients that have something to do. This is not a real database. So then, for instance, depending on whether I'm a user and the roles I have, if I'm a legal advisor or whatever it is, then I'll have all the dossiers which have something to do with my job, and that's all the way where it is, and so on. This is a very simple web. You see that is simple, really simple, and both regression, the entrances, and because a highway is a very big element that has many different things. If you have to change the roof in a house, perhaps you cannot do it because due to safety questions, they cannot accept that. So sometimes you digitalize it, you put them here, and then everybody in the chain, then they can see that here. Why am I saying all this? Because this is a part of a very important project and is really comfortable, and also because it's linked to the rest of the project, which has more to do with the GIS in the desktop. The first module and the oldest one is the expropriations, because that was explained in this module, and we used to have 50,000 plots like the one you have here. They are all very small, which were expropriated by the highway. Those which are next to the highway, not but others, the highway can determine that one can be bought or sold or whatever, or is affected to some services. So this is extremely important. Perhaps here you cannot plant some specific trees and people are planting them, so it is very important to have it control. And these were drawings that were really large, and it was an intense work, so this is a precious information for us, and we did a service in order to serve all these plans which are referenced, and everything was digitalized in such a way that is affected by the highway, and everything with formulas. And this is another module, which is the margins policy. You can see all these lines which are not even parallel, and this line, here something has to be under control, and the intensity of the regulation can be higher or smaller, and these are lines which are difficult to generate because the present regulation involves a series of conditions which sometimes can be really complex. So that was a very interesting work. And here the policy of margins, the roadside policy. Perhaps you had an accident, or an incident, and the users not necessarily have to put it here, because here they can say that in the roadside policy it says, well, in the PK, for instance, in kilometer 10 or in a kilometer 10 milestone, I can add here the incidents with the location, the reasons, and I can in the edit function, I can say in which municipality the problem happened, and in that map I'll have an element, a small point, a small polygon, and it can say, well, in fact it is there. I'm going to see what happens, and this can be edited because perhaps I have introduced the picard, but something went wrong. So this is the interaction that is that happens between the desk and the web pages, which is for the margins, the roadside policy, and also for reversions that affect each one of the plots. And then I say add unit, and then I see that something happens. We do not have to get into gvSIG because through the web is immediate, and that can be done by any user, but a more specialized user of gvSIG can do additional things, and sometimes this is important because sometimes that can have 100 different layers, and the main are the road and many things. So in this case, in off table, you can have photos where you create a division in which you can improve the hyperlink because it's kind of more functional, and we have the files, and we can introduce different things, event elements. If there is an incident, I have been asphalting the PK, then we can update this form, and then we can see all the inspections that have been done. It's not temporary management of data, because I cannot say that, but it's a monitoring of some of the activities you can carry out. Then you can add a series of maps, and we have very simple templates so that people know what they have to do with the grids which have been previously defined. Everything has been done with MapSig, and in fact is very useful, very comfortable, so that we do not have to do one passage and then the report, and is very comfortable because these are generic files to make a specific monitoring. Sometimes we can use that in external programs. And this is more or less everything that we have with Audas, which is really comprehensive, but we could add some additional things. And the other project that was done in 2012 with the Provincial Authority of Lugo, this is a different project, although related with roads, because in this case, we had to find a solution for a whole road network. So here it was impossible, some solutions. And a catalog was needed, what we had in the provincial deputation, in the provincial authority of Lugo. The catalog could be really improved, deeply improved, and what we did was a catalog merging the information they had and which could be useful in such a way that in a very quick way you can update some actions, some features of the roads that change along the time, as well as adding many other data. We know that the diputaciones, the administrations that have to manage huge quantities of roads, in this case more than 4,000 kilometers. This is a large province, but also has different profiles, and the infrastructures service of a provincial authority sometimes has not all what is needed to do the maintenance. So then they had this post-GIS with connection to gvGIS, and in this case we needed then a dynamic segmentation, because the parameters were many, and they have all the roads have to be coded. And another one very important thing was the quota, the level, because of snow reasons and things like that, accidents, traffic. So then we were using different dynamic segmentation tools, and we did the catalog. The catalog has different advantages. You can open the catalog and you know if the road from Pica 15 to Pica 40 was asphalted, then you know that, and this is the new type of pavement, and that represents that is represented in the map, in the mapping. So it's and you can surf here. Is convenient, and we do not have to keep all these sections of roads, because you can have that in the GIS. Regarding the accidents, then we were based on traffic data from the regional government, and then we were doing different formats, and we load them, and then that states the points where you have a high level of accidents. The roads are not linear, sometimes they are cut, sometimes they have ramps on one side, and this in the PK, and the PK calibration is difficult, but we found some solution. This blue road is not cut here, doesn't finish here, continues there, but if this is PK8, this is going to be PK8 also, because the rest is a red road, and also the application allows you, as far as this is digital, well, the aim of the application is not digitalizing too much, but if you rectify this and you avoid a few curves, then you can do intro, and you recalculate PKs and so on and so forth. So different actions that allows a series of actions that can be introduced in the corresponding PK, and just saying that we try to adapt all the tools to different types of users, and we want the users to adapt to the GIS information without having to reach a very high level of knowledge in such a way that everybody can work with territorial information or with information which you think is not territorial, but it is in fact, like the dossiers. So we wanted to improve the user conditions for the users, and here you have the pages where you can find the information about the projects and download the codes. The project has been done and co-founded by the regional government of Galicia, and this is all. Thank you very much.